Hello and welcome to this NYSAC Virtual Roundtable discussion. I'm Tom Oldfather, NYSAC Communications Manager. Today we'll be discussing Operation Greenlight, a campaign launched by NYSAC in collaboration with the County Veteran Service Officers Association to honor and support America's veterans and raise awareness about the important role of local governments in supporting the veteran community. For this discussion, we're very pleased to be joined by Mike Middaugh, Director of Veteran Services for Tioga County, and president of the New York State County Veteran Service Officers Association. We're also joined by Ryan Gregoire, NYSAC's legislative director. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
So before I turn it over to our guests, I'd like to provide just a brief overview of Operation Greenlight for those in our audience who may not be familiar with it. So as I mentioned, Operation Greenlight is a public awareness campaign to create a visible symbol of support for veterans and raise awareness of the local resources available to vets. This was an initiative that was launched in 2021 and stemmed from a chance encounter that our executive director, Stephen Aquario, had with a neighbor. And I'm going to play just a quick excerpt from a video. We caught up with Steve last year to talk about how this campaign started, and I'll let you hear about it from him.
Well, the idea of Operation Greenlight, well, it actually came from a family friend of mine. His name is Dr. Thomas Bailey, and he lives in Albany County, New York, with his wife and family. I pulled into his house to say hello to him and his family in the early evening, and I noticed a green light in a barn on his property, and I asked him, what was that green light? And he explained to me what it was and what it meant to him as a veteran. His son is also a career Army veteran himself, a colonel in the United States Army. That green light symbolizes community support. It's a beacon of hope for a veteran that might be returning from combat or from service in another country, in another state. And when they come to a particular community, and they see a business with a green light, or they see a residence with a green light, it's sort of a welcoming symbol or sign. So it meant a lot to me, and it was actually his idea to bring this to other counties. And he even mentioned at that time, this was last year in 2021, that it should go across the country. So really, I credit Dr. Thomas Bailey.
So following on Dr. Bailey's idea and Steve bringing it to NYSAC, we worked with our partners at the New York State County Executives Association and the Veteran Service Officers Association to educate our members about the campaign. We provided resources to help them pass local resolutions and supported the initiative, promote it in the press, social media. And in the first year, we were able to get more than half the counties of the state to participate, including New York City and the state of New York. Here's just a few examples from around the state of counties lighting up their county buildings. You can see different counties took different approaches with this. Warren County changing some bulbs around the campus, Rockland illuminating a memorial. Albany County here using a digital sign on one of their buildings to promote the initiative. And then we were also, like I mentioned, we got New York State to join in the campaign. Here we can see the Empire State Plaza lit up in green, the New York State Capitol, and the Mario Cuomo Bridge. So in addition to getting this broad buy-in from the state and counties in New York State, the success of the first year encouraged the National Association of Counties to join in the operation, and they spread it to their more than 3,000 counties and nearly 40,000 county elected officials. And we were able to get Operation Greenlight taken up by more than 300 counties counties and municipalities around the state. Here's just a map of all the counties or towns. Like I keep saying counties, but we had some cities and towns participate through NACO. We also were able to get Amazon to participate in the program. Here you can see their headquarters illuminated, Sedgwick County in Kansas, Tarrant County in Texas, all the way up to Fairbanks Starborough in Alaska. So, as I mentioned, Operation Greenlight is more than just shining green lights. It's also about raising awareness of the work local veteran service agencies do, as well as advocating at the state level for legislation that can help counties serve their veteran populations better. So now I'd like to turn it to Mike Middaugh, Director of Veteran Services for Tioga County, President of the New York State County Veteran Service Officers Association, to get a better understanding of what county veteran service agencies do, how they serve New York's veterans, and what we can do to support their work. So I'll turn it over to you now, Mike.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that. County Veteran Service Officers really are a local community-based resource for veterans, military, and their families from all generations. Whoever has served their nation, fought its wars, and kept its peace. And those currently doing that, we want to make sure that we provide assistance to them in whatever way that they may need. We are often the first and foremost frequent point of contact for veterans, military, and their family members looking to access and navigate the complex intergovernmental chain of veteran services and resources that are out there. And as accredited service officers within our organizations, we assist them by answering questions, advising them, and educating them about what benefits are available to them at the local, state, and federal levels, and providing that assistance through legal representation to prepare and file for claims and any appeals that may be needed, assisting them with getting access to health care, particularly in our rural counties here in the upstate area. That can be a huge barrier to getting any type of service, whether it be medical or mental health services. And we assist them with really any need they may have. And services vary across different counties based on, logistics, what the counties have to offer, those types of things. But primarily, we're just here to serve them. Our mission statement here in our particular office is serving those who serve for us. And in particular, helping those who we came before, those who are currently serving, and as they make that transition out and come home, we know that through all the studies that have been done, all the research that's been done, we know that first year that they get out of active duty and trying to acclimate and transition back to civilian life is what's known as the deadly gap, when they're most susceptible for suicide, unfortunately, due to all the stressors that life puts on them. And through a program that we've adopted here and then several other counties, veteran service officers throughout the state, called the Onward Ops ETS sponsorship program, we're trying to help those men and women come home. And we're looking to broaden that out and have that be part of the base of what we do through the County Veteran Service Office on the local level. And then in turn, the Operation Greenlight enables us to broaden our reach in our communities to say, hey, folks, we are veteran-friendly communities. We want veterans to come here, live here, and work here. And the supports are here to help them make that transition back.
That's great. So what are some of the most common services that the most common requests that you get coming in the door from veterans that reach out to you?
A lot of times veterans are just coming in to inquire what is out there, what's available to them. A lot of times they don't even know what they're entitled to for benefits or things like that. But in our office here, one of the things that we do before we even get into the benefits piece is we ask the simple questions. Do you have housing? Are you employed? Do you want employment? Are you going hungry? We believe that if we don't deal with those basic quality of life issues, they're not going to be able to focus on the other stuff. And we work real hard through our Dwyer peer support program and other outreach programs and efforts that we have here to address the quality of life issues for them, so that then once those are resolved, then we can work on the other things that they're entitled to as well. It's basically whatever they need. A lot of times, like I said, a lot of our veterans don't even identify as veterans, particularly those who didn't serve during a wartime period or in combat. They don't really think that they're a veteran. And we don't ask them if they're a veteran. We ask them if they served. And it's important to ask the question the right way, because they may not self-identify as a veteran, but if you ask them if they served, oh yeah, I was in the Army or I was in the Navy. Once we get over that hump, now we can say, hey, you are a veteran. You've earned benefits no matter when you served, how you served. As long as it was under honorable conditions, you're entitled to those benefits, and we're going to advocate for everything that you're entitled to.
So is there anything in particular that you're looking for from the state to help you accomplish your mission?
Wow, that's a loaded question, Tom.
Yeah.
Ryan knows my feelings on that. Funding is always an issue. I mean, we all battle that, and it's only going to get worse going forward. We know that with the upcoming budget gaps that we see. But understanding and that 1% of the population serves the United States military. Without that 1% serving for them, those freedoms that you enjoy, you wouldn't be able to every day. And unfortunately, we teach our men and women how to go to war, but we don't teach them how to come home. Time and money investing in them, teaching them to become weapons, but we don't teach them how to take that when they come home and transition back. I mean, years ago, my grandfather was a World War I veteran, served in the trenches in France. They traveled by troop ship back then, so they had time to decompress and talk and do that peer support piece on the ride home, because they'd spend 30 to 45 days at sea coming back in a confined space. And nowadays we get on a plane, we're on the battlefield 5-6 hours after we board that plane, do what we got to do, and then turn around, come home, and folks think we're just going to get off that plane and go back to life like nothing ever happened. And we know that it affects people. It affects us psychologically, it affects us mentally, it causes issues. But unfortunately, the culture that we're brought up in within the military culture, and it carries over into our civilian life as veterans, it's still part of our culture that, saying we have a problem or we need help is considered a sign of weakness. So many of our veterans, they believe that if they take anything, they're taking a handout. And what we want them to understand when they come into our offices, we don't offer handouts, we offer hand-ups. No two journeys are alike, just like no two snowflakes are alike. I can't walk your journey for you, but I can walk it with you. I can be that battle buddy that's got your six at all times, and I can be there for you in the dark of the night when that war within gets too much for you to endure and you just need somebody to talk to.
Well, thanks, Mike. It's incredible. I mean, it's really important work that you guys are doing. Such a valuable resource to the veterans across our state. Now I'd like to bring in Ryan into the conversation. The final piece of Operation Greenlight is our advocacy at the state level. And Mike touched on it a little bit, but Ryan, could you elaborate a little more on what NYSAC will be advocating for at the state level as part of our Operation Greenlight agenda?
Sure. Thanks, Tom. And, I think Mike really set the stage perfectly for what a county veteran service agency office does, and why it's so important that we are making investments in our local veteran service officers and their staff and the counties. Really, I want to take a step back just for a moment and highlight some of the wins, I guess, we've seen in this space since we've launched Operation Greenlight. And 2 years ago, we were successful in advocating for an increase for the first time in decades to the base grant for county veteran service officers. And we increased that base grant from $10,000 to $25,000 for all the counties. It of course, $25,000 does not support a full-time staff. It does not allow Mike and his peers to do all of the work that Mike just talked about in connecting our veterans to services and ensuring that they're there to help them when they're returning from service through the ETS sponsorship program and programs like that. So we're looking to build off of that initial success. And this year we're asking for the state to make another investment to increase from $25,000 to a base grant of $50,000. That would cost approximately $1.5 million. In the global scheme of things, with a state budget of $220 billion, $1.5 million is and should be pretty manageable when we're talking about serving almost 1 million New Yorkers. There's almost 1 million New Yorkers living in our state who are veterans, who have served in some capacity in one of the branches. We're we're also looking to expand upon the Joseph P. Dwyer grant program. And yes, we got some increased funding in last year's budget to expand the Joseph P. Dwyer grant program. We're very thankful for Governor Hochul actually to be taking up the mantle of Operation Greenlight and making these investments. She's the first governor to join this and work with us on Operation Greenlight. Hopefully this will last for, beyond my lifetime. But really it started with this partnership that we've created with Governor Hochul. So we thank her for that. But, we need to be looking at expanding this grant program. We know the Dwyer grants go towards funding programs and projects that support our veterans in the community. We're trying to, Mike talked about building quality of life and ensuring that those returning home have a good quality of life. Yes, federal benefits are part of that. Yes, peer support is part of that. But we also need to be creating an inclusive environment to welcome them home, help support them, give them that hand up, as Mike said, not a handout, but a hand up. And that's really what the Joseph P. Dwyer program is all about. So again, we're looking for some equity in that program, Tom. So right now, for folks to be aware of, not every county receives Dwyer grants, and not every county receives the same allocation of Dwyer funds. We're looking to level set that across the board so everyone is treated the same. And that would require another $3.5 million contribution from the state. But in the grand scheme of things, again, when you total the two requests together, we're looking for $5 million. $5 million. That's it. It's not a lot of money. There's a couple bills out there that we're also going to be pushing for. We've been working with Senator Thomas over the summer to finally expand the state's definition of what a veteran is, to recognize the service of Reserve or National Guard service members who've completed 20 years of service. Now we need to work on expanding that definition further. I think this is a good first step. We're trying to broaden the designation of veterans to help, again, connect them to resources at the federal level to help triage and incentivize and bring people together. It's important that we should be treating everyone in this capacity as a veteran so they can receive the same access as services as what you typically would envision a veteran as, and the folks that are under the current definition. The other component, the other piece of legislation that I wanted to highlight, and this is a bill that we have been working with New York City on, Commissioner Hendon in New York City for the last few years, is to expand the Veterans Tuition Awards program to allow the transfer of unused benefits to a spouse, a survivor, or a child. That bill has passed the Senate unanimously without any opposition. It's been stalled in the Assembly. We need, and Assembly Member Dinowitz, who sponsors it over there, has been a great partner of ours, but we need the Assembly to pass this bill. It's beyond due. There's no reason for it. There's no opposition to it. It just needs to make its way through the arduous legislative process that exists in the state of New York. So those are a couple of asks, and I wanted to highlight them because as I started off my remarks, we've had success in advocating for our county veteran service officers and our veteran population because of Operation Greenlight. And, Tom, it really is a three-prong campaign, the way I look at it, right? It's getting the public to take a moment, take a step back, recognize your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues, your family who have served by shining a green light at your home or business, or in our case, within our county governments. It's also a campaign about raising awareness for the work that Mike and his colleagues across our nation provide to our veterans. And it's also a cause to raise advocacy and fight for our veterans, both at the federal level in Washington and here in New York State. So thanks for allowing me to take some time here, but those are the four key pillars of what we're looking for this year.
Thanks, Ryan. And for anybody watching, you can go to our website, NYSAC.org/Operation Greenlight. And you can find information not only about the campaign, but also that agenda, those bills, those initiatives. So when you're talking with your state assembly member, your state senator, you can say, hey, what are you doing about these? These are important to us, So use that as an advocacy tool. All right, so we're getting towards the end of our time today. Mike, any other final thoughts you'd like to add before we wrap up today?
Yeah, touching on Operation Greenlight real quick. People often ask, how can I light up something green? And it's really, really simple. What we've done here in the county, it's kind of tough to light up some of our bigger buildings because they're older and, putting out portable lights, they get stolen, whatever. But we purchased cases of light bulbs. If people want them, we put out a press release. They can come to our office, they can get them and simply change out a light bulb on the front porch of their house, or they make electric and battery operated candles. You can put a green light on that, set it in a window. Throughout our county office buildings and agencies, we've asked folks to take floor lamps or desk lamps and put them in the window, put a green bulb in it, turn them on at night when they leave for the evening so that our county buildings can be lit up. There's just a lot of simple ways that you can do that. But yeah, if you're listening to this, you're in the Tioga County area, please come by our office, get a green light. I'd love it's been neat the last couple of days. We started giving them out last week, and driving by homes on my way home from work, seeing green lights on the front of houses has been awesome. And we've got the light bulbs. If I got to buy more, I'll buy more. It is what it is. It's important, and not just leave it up from now until Veterans Day. Leave it up year round, folks. It's important to shine a light on our veterans and on our military, and to let them know that we are welcoming communities. We are here for them. We care about them. We care about their service, and it's just a small gesture of how much we appreciate them, really. And it can be left up year round.
Thanks. That's a great point. There's a lot of different ways that individuals and counties have been approaching this. We do have a link on our website that links to an Amazon page that has curated a list of materials that are, I think, more geared towards the building illumination. So that is a resource that's also available, but the ones that you just mentioned are great. So many ways to participate. We've heard anecdotal stories. One of our colleagues was just in an airport somewhere across the country and heard a airline pilot talking about Operation Greenlight. It came to my hometown where I grew up in Kansas, like completely unconnected to me. So it's been really fascinating to see this move across the country and really take off. So it's a credit to everybody that's participated. So thank you all or both of you for joining us today. This has been great. And I look forward to seeing all the green lights over the next month.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate the opportunity for us to get out there and let folks know that we do exist. Every day, it seems like we get somebody that walks to the offices that says, we don't know you're there. And it's like, in Tioga County, I don't know how that's possible, but every county in the state of New York, including the 5 boroughs in the city, through Commissioner Hendren's office down in the city, there are county veteran service officers there to serve you. And whatever the need may be, don't be afraid to ask. We will find a way over, under, and around that obstacle for you.
Great.
They're really the experts. Our counties and Mike's colleagues are the experts on the ground helping our veterans. So it's one of the many services counties provide.
Yes. And one more time, that's NYSAC.org/Operation Greenlight, where you can learn more about the program, how to get involved, how to participate, and how to share your participation with your community. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.